Good morning. We want to call the meeting to order. If everyone could stand for the pledge. Thank you. First item, approval of the agenda. Do I have a second? All in favor? Approval of the agenda is passed. Approval of the minutes for our April 25th, 2026 regular meeting. Do I have a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor? Approval of the minutes have passed. Next item, the announcement of email vote. Director Hebner.
Thank you, John. Our governor signed into law last month Senate Bill 758, which changed the candidate sign period where you could put signs out from 30 days to 45 days. The board unanimously consented to vote on this matter by email to align our ARC document to this new law. So the action was taken on May 2nd by email vote pursuant to Section 5.1 of the bylaws and Section 2.408C of the Corporations and Associations article of the Maryland Code. Specifically, we amended ARC guidelines, Section 600.4 political candidates and referendum signs, Section C, the time period, and we aligned it to just that from 30 days to 45 days.
Thank you, Jeff. Getting started. Good morning and welcome to our May Ocean Pines Association Board of Directors meeting. We appreciate everyone taking the time to come out and join us. Before we kind of get started, I'd just like to take a moment of silence. The community lost Jerry Murphy this week, and if anyone had known Jerry, he'd been a fixture around the community for a very, very long time, and we'll miss him. And it's like take a moment of silence. Thank you. The board of directors would like to congratulate Chief Robinson on his upcoming retirement and thank him for everything he's done for our community. He's helped us tremendously, and we want to thank him for that. As a reminder, with the OPA elections coming up, it's important, I kind of say this every month, for everyone to have a current address and your information on file at Ocean Pines to make sure you're getting the right emails and you're able to get what you need for the voting. If you're not sure, just call the administrative building. They can tell you, but you want to make sure you have that on file. Annual Memorial Day ceremony took place at the Worcester County Veterans Memorial earlier this week. A luncheon was held to thank Marie Gilmore for her 21 years of dedicated service and leadership to the group. And if anyone knows Marie, you know how passionate, and she's not stepping down. She's still part of the board, but her leadership is quite a legacy. Moving on, got two announcements I'm going to have directors share. The first one is a grant opportunity with Director Leonard.
Thank you, John. We posted this in the This Week in the Pines this past week, so I'll review that and then provide a few more bits of information. The board of directors have been made aware of a grant opportunity through the Chesapeake Bay Trust. That was from one of our members, shared that with us. It's focused on community engagement and restoration. The board is interested in assembling a task force to plan a qualifying project, pursue the grant, and execute that project over the next 12 months. The time frame for forming this task force is immediate. A director, in this case yours truly, will be assigned as liaison to facilitate collection of required information needed for the grant application, as well as any required interaction with operations, Interested parties should contact me at pleonard@oceanpines.org. So just a little bit more information on this. The grant program is designed to engage diverse organizations in activities that benefit communities and raise public awareness of and engagement in natural resources issues. The Chesapeake Bay Trust is a nonprofit grant-making organization dedicated to improving bays, streams, rivers, forests, parks, and other natural resources. We've got a few of those in the Pines. The grant is for up to $5,000. We've already had several members show interest in this, and we'll be forming this task force soon. The plan is to empower this task force to develop a qualifying project based on brainstorming some ideas. We've discussed, a few of us have discussed some ideas that we might seed that discussion with, but we're going to leave it up to this task force to come up with the ideas, pitch that idea to the board and to operations, and then move forward with the grant application process. The expectation is that the task force would also engage a broader group of members to assist in execution of the project. The goal of this is to engage the community to collaboratively improve our natural resources in Ocean Pines while getting folks outdoors and enjoying nature. Thank you, John.
Thank you. And again, that came forth by a recommendation from a homeowner, which I think is pretty exciting. Next, election timeline, I'm going to ask Director Hebner.
Thank you, John. Our election committee has been meeting on a regular monthly basis, and their mission is to ensure that everyone receives a ballot and that their vote counts. We had our candidate draw this last week on May 26th. We asked the candidates to provide a bio position statement, answer 3 questions, take a photo. That's all due on June 3rd. The candidate forum is next up in line on June 13th. It's a Saturday from 10 until noon, right here in the golf clubhouse. Please attend. You'll have an opportunity to meet all your candidates and to ask them questions. Ballots will be mailed and emailed on June 22nd. It's not that far away, so we're within that 45-day window of signs. So candidates, you feel free to put your signs up. Final voter eligibility deadline, this is important if you want to vote, is July 1st. Final ballots will be mailed and emailed right after that date for anybody that has corrected any deficiencies that they may have had. Voting deadline is August the 5th. That's a Wednesday. And there's a change this year. It's at noon. It's at noon on the 5th. All the ballots that have been collected at the admin building will then be overnighted to MK Elections. On Friday, August the 7th, is the vote count. So that won't happen. Typically, we did that on the next day, but it was kind of rushed. I'm going to do that on Friday, August the 7th, to be prepared for our annual meeting on Saturday, August the 8th. So another plug, please come to the annual meeting. MK Elections is administering our 2026 election. In 2025, they performed in a most professional and exemplary manner. If you should have any questions, please email elections, that's plural, elections@oceanpines.org. We've been having a pretty thorough communication plan. If you've noticed our electronic signs, we've been having all kind of information on these important dates that I just went over. We've also put this in This Week in Ocean Pines and news releases. So the information's getting out there. So please vote. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jen. A few upcoming events in the neighborhood for all take advantage as we're moving through the summer. The annual Ocean Pines Community Bike Ride is scheduled for this afternoon today at 3 o'clock. A swim social next week, June 2nd at the Yacht Club 6 to 8, food and drink specials. Swim Like a Mermaid on Saturday, June 20th from 2 to 4 at Ocean Pines Sports Corp Pool. The pools and the beach club are now open. As a reminder, the beach club planned renovations will start in the fall after this season. after the beach club closes, that is. There's been expanded music at the yacht club and golf club during the week, so please check it out. That you can see all the information on the website and on the weekly blasts. And the Tiki Kitchen at the yacht club is now open. It opened last night or the night before, so that's going very, very well. So we thank you for that. And moving on, John, GM report.
Thank you, John. Morning, everybody. Let's start off with some pictures, and I know that Rick will probably talk a little more. But the Veterans Memorial is very important to me, important to the team, important to everybody. We did work there also, which I'll talk about. But when I first moved here, my dad lives with us, and he's a veteran of Okinawa, China. And when I said to him, "This is where we're going to move," and he saw that, he just kept looking and he said, "This is where I want to be." So it's very special. It's more than just, there's a lot with this, but they'll talk about it on the page. So, and especially after just saying that, and I've coined this phrase and I've heard other people use it here in this room. We have something special here and we need to continue it. What we've done over the last 7 years, all of us, and of course the homeowners and the boards and the team and everybody, we need to continue that. And in my updates, our updates, you'll see our next 3, 4, 5-year plan. It's consistent with what we've done, and I believe the success that we've had, and hopefully we stay the course. Turn the page. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about today. And by the way, I just want to, well, he's been here before, but introduce Steve Phillips to my right. He's our Senior Director of Finance. He's our controller. Steve, I had asked him to come in today to talk about the wastewater and the water and the effect on our bills and the effect on our association's budget. I know the board has received several emails, which I also received. So we've put it in perspective. I've updated the board, but Steve will do a nice job today, making sure you all understand the effect of it, because they are big numbers and it's a fact of life. All right, so I'm going to talk about the initiatives before I get in there. I do want to mention it's not up there, the golf pavilion, because we do get emails on it. The golf pavilion, which we're talking about out there, and we are working on some plans. It's on hold. I want to make that clear. And I've said that, and I will continue to say it because I understand I have to do that. So it is on hold. Touch Italy, I have spoken to them. I do believe over the winter they will proceed to make adjustments to the bar in there. So they lease the space. Of course, we give them approval on it, but we will be doing that. And then you have the beach club. The beach club, we're going forward. I'll probably be talking more about that over the next couple of months because that is a big initiative. So you'll hear me with the planning stage. We are going forward. We got approval from the board, and I'll talk about that more over the next couple of months. Right. So now I'll talk about the firehouse. If Linda could turn the page. So we kind of, if anybody's passed by there over the last month, I kind of labeled it the big dig. So we were in the site prep. The site, obviously, once we knocked down the building, which I believe went smoothly, we did, based upon testing, we did find out certain situations, all been corrected. So what happened was, and it's up there on the site work, so there was a question on the compaction. Once you knock down the building, and even with this building, when we first knocked it down, there is testing that goes on. Obviously, regulations have changed from 30, 40, 50 years ago. What I want to make sure everybody understands, we addressed everything plus. We thought originally it would probably be 10, 20 truckloads of compaction we would have to bring in there and take out 20 truckloads of whatever dirt was there. It turned out to be over 100. So that is all complete. It's all part of the budget. The site work we had a budget for. We're working on that. The hybrid approach that I've talked to you about in the past, we did a lot of the work ourselves. Credit to Eddie, Nobi, CJ, and Junie. We leased about $10,000 worth of heavy equipment. Credit to our team that they know how to utilize it. So we did save money on it, but there was an additional cost. But I'm comfortable with what's there. You always got to start with a good foundation. And I'm looking at Joe. I know that they're okay with it. So I just want the homeowners to know we're going to make sure this is the building that we've talked about. All right. So I talked about that. It was over 100 truckloads. So front page. The Tiki Kitchen. So the Tiki Kitchen, if anybody was at the yacht club yesterday, I guess that was their opening day. I believe it went well. I saw the numbers for the yacht club last night compared to last year. There was a big increase. There were a lot of people there. You know, the food, obviously everything's relative with people. I thought it was very good. That's a full-blown kitchen. You can see in the middle there, he's got the pizza oven, but that's more than pizza, that place. That whole kitchen is one of the best kitchens I've ever been in. And I worked in a lot, or went through a lot of kitchens in a different life. So compliments to them. They put their own money in there. I know it was north of 150,000. That was their number. We built the structure. I believe it went out well. It came out well, and we'll see how it services us. Turn the page. Okay, so Steve's going to jump in. This is what I was talking about. He's going to put in perspective. We all got the bills, the wastewater, the water, and let's have Steve tell us.
Morning, everybody. Just want to get into the water and sewer expenses. We've heard a lot the last year about the increases in the bills. So I wanted to just share the impact and then show you a little bit about the breakdown of how Ocean Pines actually charged. You can see in the chart there below or above that you have FY 25-26 budget that we had about $90,000 in expenses. And that's pretty much historically been the case up until last year. And then last year, you can see where we landed in the unaudited statements that I just sent out last night. We incurred $263,000. So about 3 times as much. For the 26-27 budget that we just adopted, we had to do the pricing structure for the full 12 months. In 25-26, it only affected us for 10 months, but for 26-27, 12 months. So the bottom line impact was $300,000. And you can see what the assessment impact is. That's $19 additional on the assessment as a result. Let me turn the page, Linda. Yeah, so I'm not going to get into the previous slide there because I'll get into the verbiage here, but this breaks it down for us. So you can see the $300,000 that I just alluded to there in the first column, which is the total expenditure. And if you break it down, you obviously have the usage fees, which is just the gallon usage. That's pretty typical each and every year. Wasn't a big difference this year versus 25 or this year versus previous years. The debt service fee that I'm hearing is actually going to be a reduction for 26-27 per the county. So I reduced that in the estimate for $36,000 down to $18,000. And the actual pricing on that is $36 per EDU. Right now, that potentially is going to be $18 per EDU next year. Now, the big charges actually are the accessibility fees and the service fees. The service fees is something that we've always had. However, it only amounted to about, excuse me, $20,000 in previous years. You can see what the number is this year, about $142,000. They increased the EDU rate to $209 per EDU, and we have 287 EDUs. So you can see the sizable increase there. The accessibility fee, that's something that's new as well. That's $87,000 onto the bill. And that's for unconnected EDUs. We're charged $177 per our unconnected EDUs. We have about 80 of those. And then also on our mailbox lots, we have about 44 of those. So that ends up being $87,000. So you can see, bottom line, I have $310,000 in the estimate, which is actually higher than what we budgeted. So that's about a $10,000 potential exposure. And you can see where the increases below are part of the county budget. So our service fees are projected to potentially increase $10.45 per EDU. Accessibility fees, $8.88. And then there's another bay restoration fee aspect to it, which I'm being told, I guess, due to the water quality that we have, that was, I guess, deficient, that was below a certain threshold, that basically they're going to be assessing a $15 bay restoration fee per quarter. That equates to about $17,000. So that $17,000 is in our $310,000. And yeah, so ends up being about 4 times what we historically had to deal with in the water and sewer expenditures.
Thank you, Steve. Let me just take it from the top, though, and that was excellent. Let's look at our assessment. Our assessment for this year, the year we just started, well, actually May 1st. We increased our assessment the year before was $875. We talked about a $25 increase for the fire department, which was a small number, as far as I'm concerned, a small number. We hadn't provided for any type of replacement on that firehouse, so we had to go back and do that. And again, I thought that was a small number and definitely well worth it as a homeowner also. But we also increased the assessment $15 because we got hit with this water bill, this increase that Steve explained the detail to you. So in our assessment right now is a $15 increase for that. Steve mentioned 19, we offset some of that with organic savings and revenue. So there is a cost in there, and you also saw Touch of Italy, our food and beverage vendor, got hit with about $60,000, $70,000. So, you know, this was all not planned for. I understand it's a part of doing business. I have a house, a home here. I get it. We just wanted to put it in perspective because we have seen some emails come in. Oh, look at this. Now you have this and that. They are offsets. They're very small. And as Steve pointed out, there's also other increases that offset that. Is that correct, Steve?
Yes.
So, all right. So if anybody has any questions on that, info@oceanpines.org, some combination of the three of us will respond. But I'm hoping every homeowner and certainly the board knows so they can put this in perspective with the next budget. Vets Memorial, Linda's going to take you through that slide.
Okay, the Vets Memorial, there was paver wall work that was contracted out, and paid for by the foundation. Public Works every year does work at the Vets Memorial, so we did remove the landscaping, plants and stones, install new plants, remove the benches, so the work could be done by the contractor. We did replace the irrigation around the plants, and did the landscape fabric on top of that. Did help with install the letters on the plaque on the new wall, so the Space Force wall now exists. Repaired the power for the lights, they're the ones that we put in, and the damage during construction of the conduit, and replaced 2 lights on the flag poles.
So every year since I've been here, and probably even before, we've helped out with that. I know Rick wants to talk, and I'm not sure Jeff. We have done work on that every year, and we're glad to do it. But I think Rick wants to tell you his new ideas, and Jeff.
Go ahead, Rick.
Thanks, John. And John, I just want to thank publicly, taking over as the president for the foundation, the work that Public Works has done to that memorial. I've got nothing but raves feedback on how the memorial looks now, and I'm very, very proud to say that the meticulous work has really paid off, and it's going to continue with that. You know, the foundation itself put about $50,000 of our money into revamping the memorial, and we're going to continue to invest in it as well, with the landscaping throughout the year, because it's something that the veterans and veterans families deserve to have, and we're going to continue having that. And I have received numerous amounts of rave reviews of the work that Public Works has done. So I appreciate that, John, and please pass that on from the foundation to Ocean Pines on the work that they have done. And but it really looks nice, and really appreciate the work that's been done. So thanks.
Sure. Sure, I've already passed that on, and I will pass it on, and also the rest of the people on my team that have worked on it. Okay, turn the page. So maintenance, Linda will take you through the maintenance and everything.
Okay, maintenance, swim and racket bathrooms. I know this was a long awaited, it came through with the aquatics committee, I think originally, about swim and racket bathroom conditions. So restroom work has been completed and included the new partitions and mats in the floors. Beautification, the Great Blizzard cleanup is now complete. So it took a while. 181 loads of mulch hauled from the Public Works yard in White Horse Park. I know people were saying, why is it taking so long? 181 loads. That's the before and after. I mean, there's still stuff in the yard. That's why we have the yard closed. It's still not safe. We have trucks, have soil, we have sand. It's not safe. We will be reopening the yard. We will announce when we're reopening our, but right now we are closed. Public Works started opening the yard actually the whole month of May and November in 2020. So it's not been an ongoing thing. This is just recent when the yard has been open. The Saturday only drop off for May, November began in 2018, and yearly Wednesday drop off just began last year. So there's been a few people saying that, we're disfranchising them for not using the yard. It's not been an ongoing thing. This has not been in the history of Ocean Pines. This just started in the last couple years.
We also, some of you who utilizes White Horse Park, we had to, it was so huge, we had to also utilize White Horse Park, but that's all been cleaned up also. So, there was a cost to this. I've talked about it. I think it's somewhere, the whole thing, between the storms and everything probably came out to 100,000. Turn the page.
Okay, beautification. We put landscaping throughout the community. This is right outside here at the clubhouse. Public Works did a great job on this, and there's also a few others. Beautification, the palm trees we'll put in the beach club, like normal, and the yacht club. So the total cost of that was $9,805. Dylan.
So actually on the golf course stuff, in addition to, it was we've brought in Dylan landscaping. You okay there, Linda? All right, so the bridge damage, if anybody's gone over that, you can see the damage on the right. A truck hit it between the police department and I think even the truck, they came forward. So I know Steve's working with the insurance company, and we're actually trying to repair it in-house. So hopefully we get the insurance money on it. You can see what happened. Page, roads. All right, so let's talk about the roads. We did, if you've been on Ocean Parkway, you can see down near Cadell, there was a sinkhole. We brought in an outside company. We call these preferred vendors. They've done a lot of work with us. We've done a lot of bidding with these type of companies in the past, but when something happens real quick. So we brought in the Depp brothers. They did a great job. They've done work like this for us before. I think they had the whole thing done in a day and a half, that and between and then we brought in the asphalt company. So it's all done. There's the cost, $27,000. The bottom right, the reason we put that picture in is because, as you know, the lining of pipes, and I've talked about that over the last couple of years, we're going to line that pipe. We actually have them coming in a couple of months. That pipe was actually scheduled to be done. It just happened. We're still going to line up because there's other pieces of the pipe, and that'll reinforce even the piece that was corrected with sheet metal and probably would last it's going to last another 50 years. Turn the page. So work groups, let me talk a little bit about this. Hopefully I can explain it. This is different than a committee. I've used them in the past. I've had a lot of success with it. We've had a lot of success. Somebody told me a long time ago, and I've read, you bring constructive, professional people in a room, you let them do their thing. When people don't have agendas or whatever, it's amazing what gets done. I believe that the work group we had with golf, a lot of positives came out of it. You can see some of the names, or most of the names there. There are other people that we've reached out to. So we have a whole list. It's been posted of what they would like to see. A lot of it we were working on, the team's working on, and we are addressing it. And I'd like to thank all of them. Next up is, and I know Linda and Ruth Dan are working on setting up, is Racket Sports and Aquatics. And I'm sure we'll have the same success with that. Page. The police. Linda will take you through the police.
Okay, where were we 3 years ago? We were at 8 police officers. Where are we now? We're now at 8 police officers. The force was built back up before have left over the last year. Currently we're doing a salary study and looking at starting salaries with competitive with neighboring agencies. But we do like to thank, the heavy lifting is being done by Lieutenant Bailey, Lieutenant Schoaf, and Sergeant Martin, plus the team that has stabilized the department. And I don't know if everyone saw at the Vets Memorial, those 3 were out there directing traffic and doing a lot of work. So congratulations to them. The GM has again reached out to Worcester County for Sheriff's Department for assistance. So they are covering a few days and nights shifts. And we would also like to thank Chief Robinson for his 3 years of service.
So it's the same approach that I took, that the team took. Obviously, Steve and Linda are working with me. We've already reached out to the Worcester County Sheriffs. They're there for me anytime I pick up the phone, they're there for Ocean Pines. We are, as she mentioned, doing a study, same thing what I did 3 years ago. We are re-looking at it. We're working on it again. I hope to be coming soon to the board because there are some recommendations that we would like to see and hopefully get that money to rebuild on that. So, hey, look, it's everybody down here. It's a numbers game. Everybody's short offices. But I know Linda already did. I want to recognize also, because I see it, the heavy lifting that they've done over the last 3 years as well as right now.
Okay, insurance award, second year straight, we won the insurance award for the safety award for Premier Workplace and for safety performance. So congratulations to Ocean Pines. Yay. Okay, metric CPI violations, 41 new violations, 42 closed, 126 still open. We are dwindling down the legal finally. 53 of the 126 that are still open are in legal. We have had a lot of consent orders signed this month, so people are willing to work with us and get this stuff done. So hopefully they'll be lower even next month. Work orders for April, 89 new work orders, 38 we're closed out, 180 still open, majority in drainage. We do have some bulkhead work orders as well that we will be addressing this week. And customer service, 80 emails and phone calls. If you have any questions, please email info@oceanpines.org.
Thank you, Linda. All right, so the financials. So April 30th is the end of our fiscal year, as you know. Steve will mark them unaudited. They're final once the external auditors come in, and that will all be final somewhere around July. End of July, Steve says, which is consistent with every year since I've been here. So we do take a little more time in April so that we can get all the invoices and everything in there so that it's less work during the audit. This is not uncommon for other companies. I do understand a lot of people wait for this. And I'm excited that they do wait for it hour by hour. So it does come out a little later, but we've had minimal over the 7 years that Steve and I and Linda have done this as far as audit adjustments. And the 1 or 2 that we had, we've explained them thoroughly. They were timing because an invoice or something doesn't come in on time. So that's the reason. What I want to focus on more is, all right, this is the month. So for the month, we were favorable. So I think out of the 12 months, we were favorable 11. So we're favorable 40,000. I was taught to go to that bottom right corner, but you can see all the detail. You can see where it came from. If you're into the budget numbers and everything, you can see that we definitely budgeted more golf this year. So maybe we didn't have the favorability we had in the past because golf has truly organically grown. Now we have it with food and beverage, and that's helping, and that's a good one. So favorable 40. Let's talk about the year to date. So the year to date, I guess, rounded to 460,000 favorable to the budget. That is consistent with the number that I have been going forward to, that I've updated the board in my biweekly updates to them over the last month and a half, as well as what I and this team has spoken about in the board meeting. So, and look, it's a forecast. Anything can happen, but we've been spot on. We've been in that 450, 500. Obviously, we took some hit on the wastewater. We took some hit on the cleanup of the Great Blizzard, but that's to be expected. That 460, just to remind you the mechanics of it, that gets rolled over into the next budget cycle. It goes into our retained earnings. And Steve, I believe our retained earnings is estimated to be around 3 million, 2.93. Just as a reminder to put into perspective to benchmark it. When we all took over 7 years ago, we were at negative 1.6. With all the maintenance and building we've done, credit to the homeowners, the board, and the team. Turn page. Okay, so this is the balance sheet, 430.26. Go to the bottom right corner, 6.4 million. Again, we've been forecasting this. That's what we should end the year with in our reserves. They're all listed there for you. And then obviously next year, the next budget, there'll be more contributions. And then, of course, all the spend against it, all budgeted, all approved by the board, all vetted with the committee. And that's what we'll start the next 12 months. The $6 million is a healthy number, especially with everything we've gone on. And if you look at the DMA study, which was huge, our numbers pretty much are consistent with what they're saying. We have maybe a high cycle a few years down the road, but we're working on that too. That's it.
Stuart?
John, just real quick, I just want to make sure everybody is aware the $460,000 that's favorable that this team has been able to accomplish is in spite of massive expenses with the cleanup from the blizzard, a huge increase for our water, and he's able to still keep us lean and mean and keep us in the black. And I just wanted to give you a kudo because that's a hell of a job, John. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, Stuart.
That did put it in perspective.
Okay, moving on. Treasurer's report?
Thank you, John. As of April 30th, 2026, the association had approximately 17.3 million in cash. Cash decreased 400,000 from the same time period last year. Cash increased 3.2 million from March of 2026. We have 9.5 million invested in CDARS. We have 39,000 in interest income recognized for the month. And the remaining 7.8 million is insured sweep accounts, treasury bills, money markets, and other operating accounts diversified between 2 local banks.
Thank you, Monica. Moving on to public comments. Members wishing to make comments must state their name and address. Time limit for comments is 5 minutes per person. As a reminder, this is not a question and answer forum. Questions can be submitted to OPA info website. Please, Tim, come forward.
Tim Peck, winner. I will begin with a sincere note of appreciation to Ocean Pines operations and the board proposed task force to pursue state grants. One possible purpose is to purchase and plant trees through the State of Maryland 5 Million Trees Initiative. This is a possible opportunity to plant trees in most of the parks of Ocean Pines. These trees will improve water quality in our local waterways, improve outdoor spaces, and help to purify the air. Secondly, I am presenting a statement signed by 113 homeowners for submission to the Ocean Pines Association, including the administration, the Compliance Permits and Inspections Department, or CPI, and the Architectural Review Committee, or ARC. We are stating as concerned homeowners about the systemic tree clear cutting of new home lots in Ocean Pines, a practice that has significantly increased since the year 2020. This trend contradicts the longstanding mission of our community and the specific mandates within our governing documents. This statement covers 3 points of concern. Number 1, violation of established restriction and guidelines. The Declaration of Restrictions, Section 8AQ, prohibits the removal of any tree over 6 inches in diameter without ARC or CPI consent. The ARC guidelines are clear in their intent. Sections 100 and 400 include objectives to preserve natural beauty and native trees, prohibit indiscriminate clearing of property, and empowers the CPI to deny certain construction plans if they indicate excessive removal of healthy trees. Number 2, clarification of legal hierarchy. In a February 2023 response to the former Environment and Natural Assets Advisory Committee, the CPI stated that the Worcester County Permit Plan supersedes OPA guidelines. This statement is legally inaccurate. While county law sets the minimum standard, including the critical area rules, the association's more restrictive covenants are binding and enforceable upon all lots, just like for fences and dock requirements. Number 3, request for action. The current pattern of clear cutting has permanently altered the woodland character that defines Ocean Pines. As witnesses to this practice, we respectfully request follow-up actions. A reevaluation of this altered policy for a return to the pre-2020 interpretation of tree preservation and informing homeowners on the correct policy who were never informed on the change and how the DNRs are applied. In summary, every few months, another piece of natural assets of Ocean Pines is destroyed, as witnessed by at least 113 residents. We ask that the ARC Committee and CPI properly adhere to all of the ARC guidelines for new and existing home lots. If an area of native trees and waterfront lots are preserved, this actually will reduce the county mitigation requirements under the critical area rules. We ask for a commitment to preserve the natural assets of our community as established over 50 years ago and not let some outside party decide what Ocean Pines will look like. Copies of this statement with signatures will be provided to you today and will be emailed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Any additional comments, please come.
Hi,
Good morning, Cindy.
not as tall as Tim. Cindy Hoffman, 23 Water Green. And I am one of the more than 113 people who have signed the letter objecting to the clear cutting of the lots for new homes. I've lived either part or full-time in Ocean Pines for over 20 years, and I was attracted to the neighborhood because of the park-like setting. I've owned 2 houses in Ocean Pines. Both of them have had over 20 trees on the lots. They were both built probably in the 1990s, and the builders didn't seem to have any problem working around those trees. But now I see lots cleared to put up new homes, 2 in particular on my road, completely clear cut both of those lots to be able to put up homes, even though there was plenty of room to be able to keep a few of those trees on those lots. I also see existing home sites get stripped of all trees in a clear violation of Ocean Pines zone guidelines. I ask today that the board and management of Ocean Pines implement our own regulations that require the HOA to preserve the natural beauty and prevent indiscriminate clear cutting of our properties. I know the new homes are required by the county to mitigate for the clearing, but a few crepe myrtles and knockout roses are no replacement for the majestic pines and other native trees that make Ocean Pines unique and special. So I appreciate your time on that. I also want to thank the police department. I live on a road off of Clubhouse, and a lot of our neighbors have been really concerned about speeding on that road, especially as the golf season starts. They put a speed monitor, as some of you might know, there for probably about a month or so. I got a call from one of the police officers, had a good chat with them. He was able to give me all the data from that. So I really appreciate everybody's time in the police department on that effort. And he told me that hopefully CPI will be able, or Public Works will be able to get us a street sign that says 25 miles an hour on that road. I think that's important as a reminder. I think people kind of think that it's still 35 on that road. And I would really love to be able to have that issue addressed. I know I've spoken here before about that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Anyone else have questions? Please come forward. Colette?
I'm a bicycler, and my comment is about bicycle safety. I ride up and down Ocean
Just pause
Parkway.
for a second. Just say your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry, Colette Horn, 35 Sundial. And as I said, I'm a bicycler, and I'm concerned about bicycle and pedestrian safety. As I ride my bike up and down Ocean Parkway, I see many cars that violate our requirement that cars not be parked fully in the right of way. Yet many people who live in Ocean Pines or rent in Ocean Pines violate that, which creates an unsafe situation for people who are on bicycles having to go out into the flow of traffic to avoid hitting cars that are parked, and also for pedestrians who have to do the same. I urge you to please enforce the requirement that only two wheels be placed on the right-of-way when parking on our streets and roadways. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Going once. We'll close the floor now for public comments. Next item, capital requests. There are none. CPI violations. There are none. Unfinished business. There isn't any. Moving on to new business. I have a motion to authorize the granting of extension for our general manager's contract. I'll read that. The motion is to authorize granting to the general manager options for 2 more one-year renewal terms under his existing contract, by way of an amendment to that contract to be executed by the president and then tested by the secretary. Purpose and effect: based on continued strong performance, results, and leadership by the general manager, to provide John Viola with the option to extend his tenure up to 3 years through June 30th, 2031, beyond the current term of the contract. Background: term of John Viola's contract presently extends to June 30th, 2028, and Mr. Viola has presented we're presenting an option to extend the contract term for 1 additional year to June 30th, 2029. Based on his excellent performance and after discussion with him, the motion is to provide to Mr. Viola 2 additional one-year extension options through an amendment to his contract, such that he will have the ability to extend his contract up to 3 years beyond the current end date of June 30th, 2028. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Have any discussion? Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I just want to back up what Stuart said earlier. I mean, first off, I appreciate you as president bringing this forward, John. Ocean Pines has never been in the financial shape that it is today. It's unbelievable what's been done. The maintenance hasn't been in any better shape than it is today. John brings with him such experience, integrity, promises made, promises kept. And John has an eye for the long game. This isn't a short game thing that we play here. I mean, and it's going to show when John tells us and forecasts favorability, it's spot on every time. He accounts for every penny of our money, and it's much appreciated. We'd be stupid not to try to keep John as long as we can, and his staff. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jeff. So any further discussion? Call the question. All in favor, say aye. I think that motion passes. Make sure we record that as unanimous. Congratulations, John. Thank you. And thank you, your entire staff. Right. Yeah. The Director Brady.
Yeah, I'm probably out of order again once in a while, but I also think as far as the whole team, one of the things that I have just really watched John do amazingly is to mentor his staff. I mean, if you look at all of the different departments and what they are all doing and how capable they are, he's mentoring them as they come along so that in the future, when he finally, maybe well in the future, decides he's not going to re-up, we'll have good people in place to stand up in his shoes. So thank you for that. Well,
Thank you, Elaine. Moving on, there are no appointments this meeting. The adjournment, do I have a motion to adjourn?